Okay.
No, I have to. I every time I always like think, okay, I have to do what in what order and do this and do that, so I don't have any time where I'm just sitting there and it's dead and I look like a fucking dope. And every time I play this game, I forget that after you go to the castle, you have to go talk to green hair girl again.
Oh.
Because she's gonna teach you a song that you play. You have to play it for the grumpy old man in the Goron village. As much as fetch questy as that sounds, that is nothing compared to. I'm not.
We don't need to. There are no comparisons necessary. That sucks.
I know.
That's just an unfortunate choice.
I'm not gonna talk about fucking Majora's Mask the entire time we're playing Ocarina, but it's just the freshest one in my mind.
Yeah, it's very adjacent. No, I get you. You know, I haven't played a game even in this. This genre almost doesn't exist anymore. The like adventure collector.
Oh yeah.
Type. I don't even know what you would.
Adventure.
I mean,
collector...
Zelda is kind of its own thing, but I would say like this game is arguably very similar to like Banjo and Kazooie. It just has more in-depth combat. But like this frame of it, there's a lot of kind of new area. It's all collecting of items and abilities.
Yeah, kind of DK64.
DK64, yeah. I mean, a lot of games used to be like, but it's
rare games.
Rare games, yeah. And ironically, that style is very rare now. But
what was the last game that did that? Yeah.
But for me, the difference, I feel like in a modern game, you'll get like new combat abilities. You get like a new gun or a new power that lets you kill. Like it's mostly combat options, or you get new menu options. But people don't play around as much with giving you like every item in this game is a mechanic basically. Yeah. They're not all super developed, but they give you a bunch of different sort of toys to play with, and you don't see that as often. Like as you advance, you're not getting powerful. In big quotations, you're getting all kinds of toys, and that's really fun. And yeah, not a whole lot of games like build on that concept anymore.
Well, yeah, it's funny. Normally, I really hate when I see a thing early on that I know is going to be a late game item that I have to come back and use.
That is a little
frustrating. I don't mind that so much in like this game, and I guess other Legend of Zelda games and Beyond Oasis, and like a handful of it. I hate to use the term Zelda clones, but some of them are very much.
For sure.
We saw what Zelda did, and it did real good.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any malice in that. I think Zelda has diffused so much in gaming that I don't think you could ever like. You cannot know Zelda exists full stop and still make a Zelda clone because its influences are because so many things have been influenced by it that you could inadvertently be like, I got the best of all of these games and I made this and you've made Zelda. Like that could happen on accident. So I certainly wouldn't hold it against anybody. No more than I would call the sort of modern action shooting games like Doom clones, even though there is sort of that underbelly of Doom clones that exists now.
I remember I was talking about I was talking to somebody about Shadow Warrior.
Oh shit, okay.
And I used the term Doom clone, and they got so mad at me. They're like, it's not just a clone of Doom, it's its own game. I'm like, I wanted to find the most like polite way to
diplomatic
say, go fuck yourself, you weren't around when this game came out. That's a legitimate term. Yeah. That would be like if I said an RPG. They're like, you don't play a role in this game? I'm like...
That's an even older one. I actually have a similar one like that, right?
Is it the question of what game isn't a role-playing game, considering every game you play
No, it's another genre argument. I must have talked about this before, but I'm about to talk about it again. I got in an argument with a couple of our friends over whether Diablo was a roguelike.
Okay.
And I was like, the Diablo. And I got my fucking head bit off for calling Diablo a roguelike. And like, no, it's not a rogue. It's not a rogue. I was like, well, what do you call it? It's literally it is a facsimile of the game Rogue, which is what roguelikes are named for. It is a 3D Gothic rogue. It's literally like that game translated with new mechanics. How is it not a roguelike? And I was like, oh, there's no permadeath, there's no random generate. There is random generation, they said that anyway, but there's no random generation, there's no permadeath. And then we just stopped there, and I was like, what else? Like, well, you're like, stuff isn't... And that's
Well,
it. And we
also-
were just stymied because it's a fucking roguelike. It 100% is by any definition. The only
also,
thing it doesn't
like,
have is permadeath.
I know a number of roguelikes that don't have permadeath.
Super normal. Oh, that's a roguelite, you see. Said an asshole to me 100 times. I'm so fucking tired of yeah, it's really aggravating. But, so basically, so we talked about it, and I was like, well, it is because of X, Y, and Z, and then no. And it was just because people dug their heels in too fucking early and didn't actually consider what they were talking about. And eventually what it became was, well, you know, the genres sort of changed definition over time. And I was like, yeah, that's true, but like, what about all the stuff I just said about why it's a roguelike? And I'm talking about Diablo 1 if you're curious.
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes
Which is even more random than the other ones, and you don't have like a class tree or like you literally everything you get is random in that
I really
game,
like
so.
that game.
Me too. I love
Diablo 1 was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's super underrated. I know it's weird because it's Diablo, but like Diablo 2 can suck my balls. It's not as good. First one's a way better game.
Did I ever tell you about the time I tried to play Diablo 2 and I had to make an account for Diablo 2? And I literally was at the point, because Diablo 2 was so big, that I was like slapping my hand on the keyboard to make a username. It's like, that's taken! I'm like, man, come on! Why do you all have to have 30 accounts for 30 characters?
Wretched hive of scum and villainy.
The most, what is, I can't remember the actual quote. Yeah, no, Wretched Hive, no, you're right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I thought there was, like, more to it. I guess truly you will never find a more Wretched Hive. Well, I'm gonna go
That's
off
unfortunately
a cliff.
that was probably true at the time.
Now you will.
If you were around then, I was young then, because this is like when Diablo Online play was in its heyday. We were like probably 8.
Diablo 1 or 2?
Diablo 1, and then Diablo 2 we would have been like teenagers probably.
Yeah,
like
I
15,
remember
16.
being in high school for that one.
Yeah, and I think you probably could have said out of gaming communities that was probably one of the most vicious. Like if you were playing like Quake at the time, people will come down on you, but they're just like a tiny little text thing on the side. Like they're so just two ships in the night. Like no one can. Diablo, people are in your game with you. It is a semi-co-op game. People can fuck you up, and they are there to do so. And like
Yeah, what are they gonna do an Unreal Tournament? Shoot me harder?
yeah, who cares? Like, you're not there, yeah, you're not there to farm a specific item for a hyper build and you're gonna blow up on the host if they're not, like, drilling through dungeon levels to get to that. And you probably would have been like, yeah, that's, like, the most garbage community. That's probably the work. But little did you know, fomenting in the background, growing day by day were the Dota people who would go on to make all the MOBAs, who are all of the worst communities in gaming. Hands down, full stop. No, you may not convince me otherwise because the words do not exist to do so. There are not sufficient facts to prove that statement wrong.
I remember I was playing, fucking hell. I was playing League for a very short time, and it was the most recent time, but it was still like 4 years ago at this point. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where I was playing a casual game, and I was still having people give me shit for just building fun. I'm like, you know, I don't need to be here.
That's just the life, yep.
And everybody I've ever told that, who's like, that's just competitive. I'm like, the game is competitive.
The game is competitive, yeah. No, people will get, like, League of Legends famously has people get roasted in fucking co-op games versus NPCs.
Yeah, versus bots.
Versus bots. I don't know why I couldn't find the word bot in my brain. Yeah, people
just
will
sitting there going
blow
like-
up in bots games. Like, what are you fucking building this fucking character here? We are 3 layers deep into something that on its most surface level does not matter. Even a fucking little bit. Zero rehearsal. Does not matter, yeah.
No,
And
we've just spent that much time together.
yes, we knew where that was
We've
going.
spent as much time together as I've spent in this fucking woods where I didn't even have to think.
What's happening, right? Oh shit, a fucking werewolf?
Yeah.
I remember this game having a fucking werewolf in it. Holy shit, that's awesome. Well, he was kind of a pussy, but he was still cool.
He's a standard enemy.
That's awesome.
So, okay, what are we doing right now?
Wait, where are we at? Okay, we went back to the forest to get... I'm so sorry, I have to talk through that whole... I suck.
We have done that this whole game. That's fine.
I know. For the audience, I do apologize. We're not trying to tune out of this game, we're just excited to talk.
It's true.
I'm actually having a very good time watching this.
We really don't get to talk as much as we used to, so this is really fun to just be able to sit around and shoot the shit. Ow.
These guys are cool.
Scrub dicks.
It's not just that they're scrubs, I like that they're like the autumn leaf ones. but they're also, like, the forest is not autumny, you know? So they kind of stand... I don't know, they're just like a little bit of Halloween hanging out, but they're very naturalistic, so they don't, I don't know, they're odd, but they're not that odd. Something about them works for me. Pleasant. A lot of the design in this game works really good. It is designed very strongly around the graphics that were available to it, and I think that really lands. Even when characters look super weird, they never look out of tone. Like when the weird fat blob guy was running, it's like, whoa! But you're like, okay.
Oh, look at that Zelda guy!
Yeah.
You know what it makes me think of? It reminds me of an old animations where you'd have the painted background and the celled item that was a
know it's
lighter
gonna
color.
move. Yeah, fucking
So, like,
Shaggy and Scooby walk into a dingy room with one sandwich perfectly lit. Like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen
I wonder
here.
if they're gonna eat that sandwich.
I bet they are. Bet the sandwich.
And you always know who's an NPC because their face vaguely resembles a face.
Yeah, because it looks like the actor that played them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actor that played these on the green screen.
Dude, man.
They mocapped the shit out of this game.
Has anything ever looked so delicious on screen than Shaggy's sandwiches? That fucking mouth. It's the size. He's got like a good lettuce and like vegetable ratio, and he always bites through it just crisp.
And
It's very satisfying.
every ingredient in a haunted, cobweb-filled house is fresh and within its
the
sell-by
man
date.
can cook. He's just that good.
Also, I never noticed this in the original series. He never eats any meat.
Is that true?
Yep, because Casey Kasem was a vegetarian.
Huh. What a nice detail.
And actually, that was the reason why he stopped doing the voice for a while, because they're like, yeah, but Shaggy's gonna eat some meat. He's like, I'm not gonna be the voice of Shaggy.
What a move!
And eventually,
imagine living in that world where a voice actor can just be like, no, it's an integrity move. I'm not gonna do that, and then wouldn't immediately just get devoured by wolves.
Well, because he had a huge DJ career, so that was just his thing.
Yeah, that's right. Because he was sort of secondary to him, right? Casey.
Casey.
Isn't it funny?
That's me, Shaggy Rogers.
Isn't it funny how like DJ is an interesting... It's like, it's not a slang term, but it did sort of become one. But the slang term, like...
the slang
it's
part
not-
is that it's a disc.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, actually,
It's a thumb drive jockey.
thumb drive jockey. Well, even putting that aside, like, DJ became like a profession that a lot of people aspired to. A lot of people started using it in like nicknames and stuff, and like it just became all over the place. But it's a job that kind of doesn't exist anymore. Sort of does. Like, you can be a DJ, but you're not actually, like, maybe they might change the playlist a little bit.
Because whoever's at that party also knows how to use an iPod.
Exactly. Well, I was thinking, like, I think the closest thing to, like, what would be a classic DJ would be, like, a radio, like, you know, it's 6 p.m., here's old man
Here's Wango
Jones.
and the Carrot. Wango and the Carrot.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna be playing the hits of the 80s, 90s, and today.
Yeah, basically, and they would play the list of music appropriate for that character, and
Which is funny, because that's what Casey Kasem did.
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. He's like a classic DJ.
Like, we're going full circle.
But like it is nowadays. That is a playlist.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's not like, oh, let's listen to, like, I'm sure then he had like an agenda, like he had a list of stuff he was gonna do. But it's,
Oh, he used to do the top 5 tracks of such and such whatever. It's Billy and the Weasels. I wanna toot your horn.
yeah, see, but
Going out to Stacy in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
it's a pretty good impression actually. But see, to me that has a very different charm than like maybe I'm just projecting. This is what goes on in our town. Songs feeding out. You know, the last like. Yes, the fucking traffic's crazy today. I was at Walmart with my wife, and you just people yelling nonsense facts about their life and what, like, just interesting things they heard today.
Interesting and big air quotes.
Biggest air quotes, and then they're
Because
just
the
like,
ones I've been listening to have recently just been like, anyway, blah 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 blah. Here's my political stance on something you didn't ask about. I'm like, whoa, dude.
I don't care. Play music. If I had my way, you wouldn't exist. Just put the iPod down and walk away.
If my phone's battery was fuller, I wouldn't be listening to you.
Yeah, that's... You've been replaced by something I got for free.
I found this in a box of checks.
Yeah. So, like, but if that was the case, I wouldn't mind. I would still be into it. Like if I was listening to and it was literally just that. It's like blah blah blah. This is on the top of the charts. Here's the singer. Bam. And then you just play it, and at the end of it, like that song's hot right now. People are liking it. It's doing well. Here's another song from someone similar. That's all I need. Just be charming. Get me from one song to the next. That's all we got to do.
That I want that, but I still want like a somewhat bitter personal agenda about like, you know, that's gonna be number 9 of the charts, but it's number 1 in my hearts, and I'm the DJ. You'll listen to what I play.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be like this one's number 47 in the chart, as it deserves. Thank you, Jerry.
You know what? That's
just like
fine,
taking
too.
snipes at people.
I want every song to have a snipe. Be like, this used to be mine and Janet's number 1 tune, but now it's down on 47 because fuck you, Janet.
Yes, but brief. Yeah, just little bits in between. The way
that would be like that's the letter going out to Saskatoon from me to my wife who's currently cheating on me. Deborah, I've always known, and that's why we have joint bank accounts. And here comes the monkeys for I'm a Believer.
You can hear and I'm a Believer. He's got his headset on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I don't fucking care.
You know, the divorce papers are on the mail.
Tell Jerry if he wants my spot, he can be the goddamn DJ for 30 years. He can have it. When I die, it's his. Until then, eat shit and park at the top of the garage like everyone else.
Speaking of Casey Kasem, there is like an outtake of him who has to do this like news spot, or it was like one of those letter reading things that was fucking super depressing. It's like, this one's from John, who just said, while I just had to put my dog down, it just means that I'll have more room in my heart for the next woman in my life. And it's just this whole thing about he's doing a dedication to somebody with like a cancer diagnosis.
Oof.
And he has to come in with then segue into this upbeat song. And after that they're like, can I talk to whoever's putting the fucking list together? Give me a goddamn Sparser's like a Star Spangled Johnny and the Hootenannies right after that fucking shit show?
That's a very valid criticism. He is right to be that angry.
Yeah, to just be
that's one of my favorite. There's
the saddest dedication straight into and the top 10 birthdays of puppy dogs this year.
That's a whole genre. You can go on YouTube and people make compilations of news anchors who have to jackknife, and they're just and there were no survivors. In other news, a puppy parade today. They're stuff like that. And that's where that line will live for the rest of his happy life. In darker news, there was an explosion at City Hall today.
At the Snickers factory. There were no laughs to be heard, but there were body parts raining down on the orphanage. And have you ever found that the underside of an eggplant happens to be the tastiest part? Here comes Jeffrey Dave with the news. Yeah, that's... Sorry, I'm not...
We got you.
I'm trying to... I'm flow of consciousness going through the game. You talk to him and he's depressed. So that's where you go talk to Saria to get the upbeat jingle that cheers him up so that he can give you bracelets so that you can pluck bomb flowers.
Dude,
to go into a cavern.
And that's straight moshing. This is wild.
As far as he knows, he's given me nothing to go on.
Yeah.
He was just in a bad mood, and I just showed up like Party Link in the music wagon. He's like, yeah! Oh man, this fresh new track's going out to Deborah, and I just wanted to let you know, Mike will love you for every day of his life. Alright, here we are with Saria's song number 2 in the charts.
Why don't I see gifs of this guy dancing all over the fucking place? That should be, everybody should be putting like way amped up music to a blurry background of that guy dancing.
It's house club dubstep over that.
Yeah, he's all melty and vaporwave.
Yeah. Doing the rainbow filter with the deep fried saturation over the mirrored inlay over itself.
Fisheye lenses awkwardly pulling in and out jams and screams.
Can you prove you're a real man?
Gotta get these.
I just came in here to play my band's new tune. I would love it if there was a game like this where you had an instrument still, and it was still story relevant, but there was also an underlying Kermit where you had 100 of some dumb item that was the flyer for your band, and you had to give
them
one
out.
to every NPC.
That's your sub quest over the course of the game, is to give everybody a flyer to your fucking underground show that you're gonna do on Wednesday. As you only have so many days to canvas the city.
You gotta make sure.
So you gotta keep doing quests for people so they'll give them out.
They gotta be in on it. They gotta know. How else you gonna go platinum?
It's an awesome fucking game. I played the shit out of that game.
That's not like more than a stone's throw away from like a sub thing in Steambot Chronicles, where if you're ever low on money, you can always bust out your harmonica or a number of other dumb instruments that you just keep on you to go busking in the streets. You can like play it. Each one has like different Guitar Hero controls to it.
That's cool.
Like in the harder the instrument, like an accordion, the more money you make.
There's a great little detail in Baldur's Gate 3 that I was really impressed by. If you have somebody who can play music, if you have like a bard or something, you can put them in music mode as a free action. And you can give them, there's a couple of instruments. You can also not, if you don't give them an instrument, they'll just whistle and slap their thigh.
The ham bone?
But it's like, it doesn't take an action, you can just do it to do it, and it turns off the combat music, and you just hear your character. So if you just don't have something equipped, you just like, you hit the button, and the combat music dies down, and you just hear like... Yeah, and you just do this happy little ham bone tune while you're whistling in the midst of big battles. That's just a great detail.
That is delightful.
Yeah.
I like knowing that.
Makes me happy.
Made my day.
Throw that at...
Shit.
Great job. Throw that on the pile.
I'm throwing blind! More money on the pile.
More money. Oh, I was gonna... sorry, I confused the two statements. I was gonna say, you can just throw that on the pile of endless fellatio that fucking Baldur's Gate 3 is getting right now.
Oh, yeah.
Catch me on a different day and I'll give you some criticisms, but we don't get the time.
Nailed it. Take that sign.
That dude didn't even wake up.
What? I don't care enough. I'm too old and too rich for this.
I don't think they have little goatee like soul patches.
Yeah, they're cool. I like the Gorons a lot.
Kind of neat. What are they like? Bull? Are they like turtle people? What's their jam?
Yeah, they're like rock people that
Just like chubby little rock dudes.
What I'll never understand is the entire plot of this thing that I'm doing right now is they're sad because they eat rocks and all their rocks are in this cave.
Okay.
And they have no rocks to eat, so they're gonna starve.
I see.
And then if you look just to the left,
A bunch of rocks.
rocks.
That's interesting.
Why don't you eat those?
Are the rocks in here different?
I guess they taste better.
Huh.
But there's also little dragons in here that are eating them, I guess. And that's
These guys. Oh, and these guys are just.
they're like,
They're just like dragons. Better starve to. Great job.
Thanks.
Better starve to death. Now I'm gonna starve.
Meanwhile, they're still very fat rock monsters.
Husky boys. Well, we don't know what their healthy body mass looks like. My point is,
Apparently,
if you got
it
a
looks
dragon.
a lot like a potato.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just gonna say, if you got a problem and you're like,
I'll
oh shit,
solve it. Check out the beat while Goron revolves it.
that's pretty
Sorry.
good actually.
Thanks.
But like, if you have like a problem like this where you're like, shit, we don't have access to our food anymore. There's like a monster. Let's just say there's like a I don't know, manticore, like something suitably
Like
terrifying.
a chimera at a farm.
Sure, but yeah, it's like, oh, he's in our grain silo. What do? We'll just wait around and starve till someone saves us.
You know,
Like
a real piece of shit.
that's who we are. Like, what was that buff dude doing? Why wasn't he in here fighting a dragon?
He had to dance.
Oh, yeah, that's important. We gotta get that managed before we can fight this fucking dragon so my people don't starve to death. I just, like... I don't know. Like, what does it say about
What was
them?
the end plan? Like, well, they haven't grown back yet. Well, I failed my people.
Yep.
I guess we'll all die.
It's fun trying. Anyway.
Sucks to suck.
It's cool that you come over and help them. Like, it's a nice thing to do for them. But, like, it sort of implies that they can't help themselves and that they need you. They need a genetically superior royal Hylian to come by and throw bombs in a turtle's mouth.
That scans, man. Have you seen them? They definitely look like a bunch of fucking stoners that just need somebody to go shopping for them.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Is there? I forget. Is there a bunch of that? Are there other like civilizations you go see? I know you have the fish people too. Is that everybody? Or is there more?
There's like the little elf kids.
Oh, the desert folks too, right?
Yeah, there's they're their own thing. I forget. I always forget that Ganondorf's just the only guy.
Yeah.
Because that's how they work.
Yeah.
Good for him, I guess.
So they got a system that works for them. You know what? Their society seems pretty fair and flat. If I'm being honest, other than Ganon, like Ganon's obviously like the problem because they made him the Super King, but at least they chose to do that. You know what I mean? Like in general, it seems like they treat each other pretty good. They don't have like a king and a queen and like a power structure that keeps some of them living in little mud huts and some of them in giant castles.
No, they're well off. They're pretty even keeled.
Yeah. So whatever they're doing, it's working for them. My question is, if there's only one male every so often, do they just live a super long time, or are they all like 194th, like Gerudo?
Oh no, they're all Gerudo.
So do they just live a super long time, or do they get a boy every I think 20 years.
I think what you're thinking is, I think that one boy kind of Genghis Khans the rest of them.
Right, but how often...
I forget this is even here.
But if you only have one guy, it's like every 500 years though, right? Isn't that like a huge number? Isn't it like really far away time-wise?
I think you're...
You
might be getting it backwards, where you're thinking there's like 100 guys and one woman.
No, I don't think Oh, wait, so are you saying they're all... No, it still doesn't track. Like, if you have, like, one guy... Let's say it's, like, every 100 years, or even, like, every 50 years, you have, like, one guy, right?
Yeah.
And he just goes to town, and you have a ton of kids, but they're all women, right?
Okay.
So now, those women will be 50 by the time another boy is born.
You're saying by the time another male is... Oh.
Like, how do you get more Gerudos unless they are having children with other people... But they all look pretty full-blooded Gerudo. Like, they're a really distinctive race of people. They don't look like Hylians that much. I guess they're the same, like, size and shape, but you feel like they'd have way more variety if that was the case.
I get you. Yeah.
But if they just live a super long time, then it doesn't matter. If they just, like, live to be, like, if they're just, like, Saiyans and they're just healthy into their 60s, then that doesn't matter.
That's probably the case.
It might be, yeah.
I mean, that's clearly not the case for humans. You saw Noodle Pots McWaddles.
Yeah. They're not living... They're either living very well or very poorly. I don't know which one, but they don't look healthy.
Well,
dude, hang on, let me make sure I'm not getting this mixed up. Are the people in... If you go to the castle in that little town out there, right?
Yeah.
Those people Hylians, or are they something else?
Hylians.
Is Zelda also a Hylian?
As far as I know, yeah.
As are you, Link.
Unless we're gonna go back to that weird, like,
just for this
Princess
game.
Peach made of stars.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that nonsense. Just for this game.
Yeah.
Like Link's a Hylian as well. Like he's the same race as those people and Princess Zelda.
Yeah, as far as I know, yes.
I wonder if that's just why does this matter? I don't know, but we're here. I'm gonna talk about it. Hang on. Let me come back to that. These lizards are fucking awesome.
Oh, these little fencing lizards?
I love them. I do not remember these guys. I don't remember there being cool lizard people. Wait. There was cool lizard people in Zelda 2.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
Fuck, they hop around too. Oh my god, and they're over the lava. They literally are the lizards from Zelda 2. That's awesome.
I like them a lot.
I
like these way better than the Stelphos. They're annoying as shit.
I'm telling you, man. I don't care. Y'all old Nintendo nerds can argue with me to the end of time. Zelda games follow Zelda 2, not Zelda 1. They look like Zelda 1, but all of the ideas are from Zelda 2. Everything that is fucking kick-ass and unique, all of the interesting stuff that we think of as like the main brand Zelda shit, so much of it is Zelda 2.
Oh yeah. That's kind of like Mario 2. It brought a ton of shit to Mario.
That's very
Everybody's like, Mario 2 is not even a
People
Mario
are way
game.
nicer to Mario 2, though. People will be like, yeah, Mario 2's like not like legit, but you know, it's kind of its own thing. People shit on Zelda 2.
I think that's because Mario has less of a formed structure to it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you could argue that Mario 2 is closer to that structure as well.
Yeah.
Like, it is still a side-scrolling platformer. Like, the basics are there that it is, you know, has that similarity.
And yeah, I guess they've actually kind of leaned really hard into Mario 2.
Yeah, a lot of that's become really normal.
Now you very often pick stuff up in Mario games.
That became a really big mechanic, is picking shit up and throwing them. Like, it wasn't big in... it was around a little bit. Did you throw shit in Mario 3?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna take your word for it. I can't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, you can pick stuff up and throw it in Mario 3.
But in Super Mario World, that's like the whole thing.
Yeah, I think there's an entire level in Mario 3 where you have to do that just to get to the end of it.
Absolutely, there's a number of them, and Mario World is the blueprint that Mario has been built on ever since. And Mario, like the other games, are strong contributors to it, but like I think most people would agree, Mario World is the pinnacle of all of the ideas of the 2D Mario era.
Cream of the crap.
Yeah, the cream of the crap. Cup of coffee.
What's your favorite classic Mario game? Favorite classic Mario Gammon Soiree? 3?
I love Mario 3. It's one of the first games I played. It's definitely the first Mario game I played. But it has a really special place in my heart because it is a game that... It was one of the first times I got that feeling that, like, video games can be anything. Because I'd played other NES games up till that, and their NES games are NES games. They're not very complicated, usually.
Yeah,
you kind of know everything that's in the game pretty early on. There may be some enemies and stuff you can't, or like levels, but like the mechanics are all laid bare usually by the end of the first part of the game.
Yeah, you get the gist.
Yeah, Mario 3 just kept giving me, like, you're traveling around a map and you have an inventory and you can like make choices on what level you can go to, and there's like entire secret paths and levels and different items and use them in different places. You get special things and you can skip levels with in-game mechanics, and like every single thing in it is dense with weird secrets and so it felt like a game that I, as a child, could never hit the walls of.
There's just no end to that universe.
Absolutely.
It's constantly expanding.
I would never feel like I found everything. And that feeling is what I love. That's what I love in video games, especially when I was a kid. When I didn't feel like I could feel the walls of a game closing in on me, that's when a game was the most fun to me, because I still felt like anything could happen.
Oh, and there's always something new you can find on your playthrough.
Like I'm sure you remember this. Do you remember renting games and being like, and you play like a little bit of it, and you're like,
play just enough to know you want it.
Well, that's one thing. No, I'm talking kind of the opposite. Sometimes you'd play a game and you're like, oh, this is it. This is the whole game. I'm just kind of doing this.
Yeah, and then you're like, I'm alright.
Yeah, I'm good on it. Yeah, I'll be. Maybe I'll fuck around with this because I rented it, so there's nothing else to. I'm gonna play it because I gotta, but I'm definitely not renting this again. And then there's other games that you would just like, fuck it, I gotta get this one. I gotta get there. Or maybe you take a break and play a different game. But like, as soon as you're going back, I am getting fucking Alundra 2 again. I want to beat that game. Or whatever it is, like, that would keep drawing you back, because you felt like there was a lot to do.
There's still new, I remember getting that a lot.
And this game is another good example of that.
It's funny, I remember the first time I played Shenmue, I rented it, because I didn't know what it was yet. And I didn't know that was going to be a 3
Oh, what a blunder!
Giant thing. You're not getting through this in no 5 days. But I definitely
the longest game ever made.
But I definitely remember that feeling where I'm like, what the fuck is this game? This is awesome!
I rented a game one time for it was like an original Xbox game, and it's kind of well known, but it wasn't by me, and it's called Dreamfall: The Longest Journey. And it was just one of those things. Yeah, I was just like, I think I was staying at someone's house or something, and they went to the video store, and I was like, I got $10. We're gonna be fucking around. I'm gonna be here for the weekend. I'm gonna rent a game too. And I gave them $10. Like, yeah, I don't. Maybe he didn't take it. I don't remember. But anyway, so I rented that game, and it was I did no concept of what genre of game it was. It was one of those where like the packaging really didn't tell me anything about what I was getting into, and I didn't really find out. Now I know that it is an adventure game, so I was supposed to be sort of, but I was just wandering around talking to people.
Adventure like like Tex Murphy Monkey Island adventure?
Yeah, like a classic style
Cool.
talking give adventure game. Like no real specific action in it, more about using items and solving puzzles. But I never got that far. It's a very long story heavy game. So I was enjoying talking to people, but I kept thinking like, what is this game about? What
am I supposed to be doing?
And yeah, I literally was like, this game, like, this game could be nothing but conversations, or somebody might give me a gun at some point, and I don't know which, because I'm only using about 3 buttons on the controller, so it may be that there's mechanics that I haven't been introduced to yet. Like, I felt perpetually like I was on the threshold, but never totally in the game. And while I wouldn't say that it was like a super fun, they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that again, but I still, that mystique, I remember the name of that game that I played for a couple of hours once when I was like 22.
Specifically because it did that.
Yeah, because it gave me that sense of mystery, and there's something to that. It bugs the crap out of me when games like kind of spoil the fun. When they give you like when like a loading tooltip gives you like a spoiler in the game, like stuff like, it's so excited to tell you everything that's in it that it fails to let you enjoy exploring it organically.
Sorry, I just had a moment where I'm like, what the fuck are these even?
Armos? What? That's the lamest Armos. You've never been so lame, Armos. I'm sorry. That sucks.
Someone goofed on you, buddy.
I hate it. They did him dirty. What a bummer.
They did him dirty, and by extension, me dirty.
I agree. Armos are like one of the coolest fucking enemies. You had a chance to make them 3D and you wussed out, you cowards. Yeah. Anyway. So that is one of that was a long road, but that's one of the things I like about this game, is it gave me that. This game, when I played this game as a kid at like a friend's house, it was the heroin version of that. I was like, there's so much! Look at all these items, and you have a magic bar and 4 kinds of ears! I was so fucking into this game. It blew my mind. I never thought a game could be this much then. Even in terms of like the Nintendo 60, we were getting into this area where games could be a little more complicated. Like, this game sat on a shelf next to like Crazy Taxi. No beef with Crazy Taxi, but it is nowhere near the density that this game is.
No,
it's like
this
not
game
even on the
giant.
So like, yeah, just seeing what a game could be was still amazing. And it's not that often these days that a game gives you that feeling of like, oh my god, like, this is possible now. Mm-hmm. It's so cool that this is a thing. Nowadays, it's usually graphics.
Well, yeah, it's funny, there was a group that I was gonna do a podcasty discussion with them, and it was based around, I know like a lot of people say this in a cynical way, but I'm genuinely curious of, have video games actually peaked? To the point where, is there, like, what am I trying to think of? Is there still, like, ground left to tread on them?
That is a very good question. I think if you want to answer, do you want me to answer, or do you just want to kind of throw that out? Because I'm sure it's going to be a bit of a ramble if we get into it. Do you want to just let that sit and discuss it another time, or do you want me to throw an answer out for you?
You know what I mean? Shoot, why not?
So I think there's 2 sort of angles you have to take if we're just like if we say like, has it peaked? Like, has it peaked, and is there new ground to cover, right?
Yeah.
Has it peaked? I think for me and you, and people the same age as us, there's a very real chance that it has. Because we are not at a place in our life where it is easy to have these big, influential, like experiences. Mm-hmm. We're not in a part of our life where we're constantly growing and changing, and the things that we absorb can give us these huge revelations about our lives and things in them. Like, you're very unlikely to have the type of emotional attachment you may have had to a game like this if you experienced it when you were young. And that isn't to take away from the quality of the game, to say that the game you played, you only feel like it's better because you're young. It's not that. It is that good, but it is a reflection of the time that you lived in as well. So, like, culturally is very different. Like it's just we were from this. This was all around when we were kids.
We were there when this was as good as it looked.
Very much so, yeah. But also when this was the type of game that we were looking for. This is like a game like this. This is the album we fucking wanted that changed, like games like this that really push that boundary were really special. But if you're pushing, so that leads us to the second question, is like, are there still boundaries to push? And that's a way harder thing to answer, because you do have to be a bit prescient. It's like technology gives us innovation gives us technology, so like we have access to like maybe exploring some options that we couldn't before, like,
right.
So there's stuff, but that's just iterating on what we do have. What we don't know is there going to be a thing that actually gives you an experience so unique that you feel like, oh, this is a game cheat. This is not something a version of something I played before. This is wholly unique.
Yeah.
I think that has to come from some sort of techno. You have to interact with it in a different way. Anything that you play on a screen with a controller, you're going to be having a melange of things that you've experienced before, even if it's put together in a really good way. So for me personally, I broke out of that cynicism when I started to play VR games. Because the difference in that experience was so vast. I always talk about
because it is genuinely something that's different.
Absolutely, yeah. I am not interacting with this in anything close to a way that I'm used to, and that because of that, I was able to like really feel something different from that experience. Like I was able to, I don't know. It was able to really wash over me in a way that like I maybe would be a little too cynical playing a more mundane controller game with, because I know the ins and outs, I know the tricks. You know a lot of the basic stuff. You can get a good sense of a lot of things a game's gonna be from the very beginning. You're just intuiting from what you know from the thousands of games you played. I can't do that with a VR game. I have no frame of reference.
Gotcha.
So that's that to me. So I think when we have new ways to play games, we will be able to once again have that new lifeblood and innovate in these big and creative ways. But so long as we stick to things as we are, then we will just be mostly iterating on what we've already got.
Yeah, like as far as, like you said, controller-based games.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. Or same thing if mouse and keyboard's the equivalent. You know, we have done so many things with it. You're very hard pressed to come up with something unique. It might be out there, but. There is, like, sometimes you'll see people explore, like, old evolutionary dead ends and find new ideas that... I played an FMV game recently that I thought was absolutely sick McNasty. It was so cool. So, this is the way the game...
Like the old, like Sega CD kind of era?
A little bit. But it was an action game. But yes, that exact type of graphics, though. Of, like, badly photographed real-life objects put into life.
Oh, with the janky mid-frames and everything?
Yes, exactly that. So here's the mechanic of the game, right? So it's a horror game. Here's how it works. You're a cultist, and then in your corner, you have a book of, like, your runes and, like, your little things that you have, and you have a spell book. But you have to kind of remember which one's which, but then the gimmick of the game is you have to click on them manually. So while stuff, and that's all you've got. So it's like, oh shit, there's an enemy. And when you hit it, your guy has to chant and do the hand signal. So like, there's an enemy. Ha, shul, fa, si, and then like you shoot like one little dinky bolt at them, and it stuns them so you can run. So it creates the horror. It's the old idea of janky controls for horror.
Yeah, which I think that's kind of key in making sure that the horror game feels right. So
I think it's a very good road to that type of like discomfort and yeah.
It's kind of why I was never really big on the like the RE2 make and the RE3 make.
Little two action.
Well, they control fluidly and in a satisfying way. That's kind of not how a horror do.
Not what you're into it for.
Well, like for me, horror games like. I'm trying to think of how to put it. Like a first-person horror game will never scare me. It never has. Because
really?
It just doesn't, because I'm not in danger.
That's interesting.
The most it can do is startle me.
Well, oh, I'm sorry. Do you mean like an FPS horror?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like first person.
But if you played a first-person horror game that like where you weren't like a killer, like where if you weren't if it was first person for effect, but not because you have like a weapon all the time. Like, does that kind of?
No, I mean like Amnesia: The Dark Descent or something like that.
Okay. Oh, so that just doesn't just nothing for you.
It does.
I was literally gonna bring up Amnesia. That's exactly where I was going.
And I played that game and I didn't feel scared. I felt annoyed half the time because I'm not in danger. I don't know how else to put that.
It just doesn't hit you in that way. Yeah.
So.
When
It feels like I'm remote controlling someone that I don't care about who is in danger.
I see.
But them surviving does not have any impact on me. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do. When horror isn't effective, it is always annoying. When something is trying to be scary and failing, then it has to be charming. That's your only out. Because if you don't have that going on, then I'm just pissed that you're bothering me. You have become a dude at a bus stop, not a horror movie. I just want you to shut up and go away.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
you get it.
I do understand what you mean.
So yeah, if something's in my way and I can't fight it, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, it won't move, and I've tried to just, like, I've done what I think is, like, I've expended all the ways. Would you fucking give me the half? Thank you.
Oh,
but like, it's a half heart, but I want it, damn it.
Well,
Like, I've expended as much as I can think to do to solve this. Now I'm just like, okay, well, at some point you have to just, like, put your foot on my back and kick me.
So this is
and just
interesting.
move the fucking thing forward, because I'm clearly not getting it.
Yeah. So I don't really fuck around with horror games. So this is an interesting conversation for me. There aren't really many that I've played. How do you feel about when a non-horror game has like a forced stealth section or something like that?
Depends on how well the stealth works.
I see what you mean. More
Like,
about mechanics.
if the best way I can think to put it is in like what is it?
The Grinch. No, go ahead.
Actually, the Grinch wasn't terrible.
No, it wasn't. The Grinch was. That's because that game's great.
That game is the exact thing you were talking about, where it's, you better be charming or you're gonna annoy me. That game was super fucking charming.
We talk about it all the time, but I'm never done talking about it because
it's genuinely a great game.
It is. People do not believe it. There are too many big creators have gotten into the game, saw the jank, laughed at it, and threw it away, and been like, "Oh yeah, that's the Grinch game. It's a total piece of trash." That game has such an undeserved rep for being a crappy game. It's the smallest kid on the playground, and I'm always here to defend it.
It's the Banjo and Kazooie game you wanted.
It is. I will play it again before I play Banjo and Kazooie again. That is a fact.
Like, for everybody that was like, Nuts and Bolts sucks. Grinch.
Yeah, Grinch.
You wanted the Grinch.
You wanted the Grinch.
On either Dreamcast or PS1. And I think it got a DS remake.
Have we talked about this? Have we talked about that Zelda is Banjo and Kazooie Nuts and Bolts now?
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about it, but yeah, absolutely. That's...
So fucking mad. Where were all you motherfuckers when I was defending Nuts and Bolts? Everybody who's telling me that the new Zelda game is really cool and they like all the building mechanics, if you were around to shit on Banjo and Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, punch yourself in the face. I can't make you do it, but you do know you deserve it, you asshole.
Well, my problem with that was that everybody's complaint was, it's not Banjo and Kazooie.
It's like, why? What about this is inauthentic to you? The humor was there, the look was there, the style was there, it was charming. It's the exact same Big Dumb Collectathon where you collect new powers to get new things.
But it wasn't the same game again. Like,
you're right.
Like, I've played Banjo and Kazooie and Banjo Tooie. It's
not that different.
It's like a different design scheme or coat of paint on the same car.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not a bad car.
The nuts and bolts of it are actually exactly the fucking same. The bones are in there. That's what makes me so mad about it. Dude, if people were like, oh yeah, I didn't really get into that one, wouldn't be a problem. I gotta get fucking grilled over it. It's so frustrating you can't just like some shit that people don't like. If you like something that people don't care for, then, I don't know, you'd be a bit of a contrarian. Like, or I just think it's cool. Maybe I just like Dark Souls 2. Stop fucking bothering me about it. I'm not being an asshole to you. Why are you being a dick?
That's been a really interesting thing recently I found online. There are a handful of people who don't understand that FromSoft did other things. So,
lots of other things, in fact. Lots of terrible things.
Well, because I'll sit there and be like, what's your favorite From Software game?
Ninja Blade. Just say Ninja Blade every time.
Every time I say Armored Core Last Raven.
Yeah, it's a great choice.
And everybody's like, no, like a Souls, like, no, you didn't say Souls-like. You said FromSoft.
I said FromSoft. Why doesn't it count? Explain the difference.
It is the company.
It
says it on the box.
Yeah.
It has to count.
It's a complicated character, lots of stats, dense RPG where everybody's lying to you. Like a lot of when you die, you lose all your shit. Except you can't go get it, you just happen to be poor.
Yeah, no, the shit you lose is all the shit you needed to make your mech work for another week while you go eat ramen noodles and your wife hates you.
I will say though, to give credit to the Armored Core community, when From Software said they were going to make another one, that crew came out of the woods to be supportive. Everybody came back and was like, yeah, Armored Core's the tits. Let's go. Give us a new Armored Core game. I'm so excited. And I'm happy that they got a new one because it's been a while.
My favorite part about that new one is I like that they kind of go back to being mechs again.
Yeah.
Not just super robots.
That's a big part of the
all the gameplay I've seen is them standing ramrod stiff and jet boosting around. I'm like, that's my mech. You and me used to do so many versus rounds.
Oh yeah.
And that little lightweight fucking like power scooter
so much
with the switchblade on its fist and the hairdryer that shot nukes.
The fucking atomic hairdryer that had 3 bullets. You just pop them off and you throw it down and pull out your little Mac-10 machine gun. Oh, so cool. Being able to drop I don't even want to. We'll be talking about Last Raven forever, but yeah, Last Raven's the tits. Oh man, have you seen? Talking game news, they put out a gameplay trailer for new Tenkaichi, and it looks pretty fucking legit. It looks real. The mechanics are there. They showed us beam clashes. They showed us the way combat works. They showed us I'm trying to remember, they changed the name of blast gauges, but that's still in it. The layout's the same. It looks like it might be legit. It might not be a trash heap. I'm cautiously optimistic.
We'll see. I've been burned by like arena brawler games so many times.
I've just been burned by Dragon Ball Z games so many times.
I got 5 episodes into like that Jujutsu Kaisen game and I couldn't play it anymore. I just got to a point where I'm like, this doesn't work.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be Power Stone, but nobody wants to do the legwork.
Here's the thing. All that stuff you just mentioned, I'm going to wait to see one very specific thing, and I want to see someone get hit on the ground. Because arena brawlers haven't figured that one out in a while. That when you knock somebody down, you shouldn't have to wait for them to get back up for like 5 to 6 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Well, in Tenkaichi, you could bust on people on the ground. They just got big armor.
You sure could. And I'm waiting to make sure that's still there.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Now,
I'm with you on that. I also want that to be there.
There is one chunk of me that I am reserved about, and that's that I was really into Dragon Ball and Z, and I'm just not into Super. And it's not that it's bad, it's just that Super came out when I didn't need Dragon Ball in my life anymore.
Well, let's talk about, like, Tenkaichi 3 had a bunch of GT characters in it. Like, did that slow the game down for you?
I didn't love them.
But did it hurt that, like, is it still the best fighting game ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have some Super characters. I don't care.
Well, most of the roster looks like it's from Super.
We'll see. They've showed us. They haven't really showed us like how it's gonna be laid out.
It ain't no Tenkaichi 3 roster.
We don't know yet. They've announced so few characters.
Oh well, I've seen like the announced ones, and yeah, it looks.
It's a pretty short list so far. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But
I will also be curious if I get 4 different costumes for like each character that aren't just recolors.
Yeah,
they're genuinely different, like full skins.
The thing that I'm concerned with, that I want to see come back, is characters having points values.
That'll be there.
If that's gone, I'm not into it. That's gotta be there.
It'll be there, trust me.
I trust no one for Dragon Ball Z games. That's the thing. If I had any trust, we wouldn't like consistently have to have these conversations. I'm so used to being stabbed in the back by every Dragon Ball Z game wants to take the fucking crown back, and they've just been, since Tenkaichi 3. I personally have not played a good one. I've not played one I've enjoyed, I should say. I think Fighter Z is well made. I don't like it. It's not for me. But I don't think that it's like a sellout game. I just don't care for it.
I'm with you. It looks great. People say it's really good. I don't know. I haven't played it because it's like you said, it's not a game for me.
It's just not for me. Yeah, sometimes you just can look at something and be like, I'm happy for everybody who is gonna get a good time out of this.
You're like, that is nice.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah, you just gotta like, that's I don't know. That's just like a good life lesson. Is know the difference between something being bad and something just being irrelevant to your life.